Corry is the editor of Air and Travel magazine. Eoghan, can you clarify what Michael O'Leary wants? Is it just the 2-drink limit in the airport, or can you booze as much as you want then in the sky?
Good afternoon. Yeah, like a lot of what Michael O'Leary says, it isn't really thought through to the exact, this is how many mils of alcohol somebody would take. What he's talking about is a rise in disorder on the aircraft. There is an obligation. I mean, there's some suggestion, well, Ryanair sell their baggings to people as soon as they get on. But it isn't as simple as that. There is an obligation on cabin crew under international aviation law not to serve someone who has had too much to drink. It's not really a personal thing. They are not allowed to do it because they can be held accountable for it. What he's
same as a publican.
Same as a publican. He's seeing an increase of disorderly incidents. He thinks that people are drinking excessively at the airport. He also makes a very good point that there's a higher degree of, apart from alcohol, other drugs involved in the online onboard incidents.
Right.
And there are a couple of routes that are particularly noted for it. He says Ibiza is a bit of a nightmare. I know, there are traditional holiday routes that people drink a lot while they're going away during the summer. And you can almost identify them, Andrea.
How would you manage this at the airport, Eoghan?
Very difficult to manage at the airport. Because the airport isn't, one bar run by Dublin Airport Authority. It's a series of franchises, and everybody is in there running their business as businesses can do. They also tend to have different operating hours than your traditional publican because the big wave of flights is early in the morning, and people going off on their holidays will head to the bar at a very early hour, and nothing in the airport allows that. So it would be difficult to sort of say you're having 2 drinks in this bar and that's it, you're getting on board. But where the real policing of this, and I've seen it happen, takes place is at the gate. If someone is too intoxicated, they will not be allowed board because, as your first caller there says, you're in a small confined space for 2.5 hours or up to 4 hours flying to the Canary Islands, and you don't want disorderly people on board.
To be fair to Michael O'Leary, his point on this, he was talking about it in an interview with the Daily Telegraph, and like he makes the point, we don't allow people to drink drive, and yet we're putting them up in an aircraft at 33,000 feet, inebriated people at the gate, boarding in large groups can be difficult. The whole thing, I suppose, can kind of lend itself somewhat to misbehaviour or, at times antisocial behaviour.
It's very unpleasant for everyone involved. The cabin crew will know to stop serving someone. The problem then is sometimes there's drink brought on board that they access, and there's an increase in aggression, which has led to assaults on cabin crew. We've had flights diverted. That causes huge inconvenience to all the passengers on board. It doesn't happen as much out of Ireland as it does out of England and Scotland, but it still is a growing problem. What I've noticed myself, Andrea, is excessive drinking isn't new to aviation. Anyone who thinks that it's new should have been at Italian 90 or whatever. But what I've noticed is an increase in reaction to alcohol with other substances. And it doesn't just mean illegal drugs, of which we're a problem, but also we're taking far more prescription drugs than we ever did before we fly. People come, and even not a huge amount of alcohol can cause a psychotic reaction. And we've had
who knows what the makeup of the cocktail is. I'm going to the airport on Friday afternoon. I'm likely going to have 2 drinks at the airport, but I'm not going to get on the plane and start causing a load of hassle, and nor will the people who are with me. But I do wonder about, is there not personal responsibility, Eoghan, in all of this too, though?
Of course there is, but you wouldn't be let on board. I mean, they'll say, "There's Andre on the batter again. We won't let her near the flight." No, they will stop people who are intoxicated from boarding. The problem then is people who react fairly quickly after they've got on board.
The reaction, I suppose.
And then but most of the rows don't start about the drink or the second drink or the third. They start over something else, like the seat being left back or armrests or something like that, and people get very aggressive very quickly.
People wanting to change seats. I can only imagine the scene. All right, Owen. Paul is with us. Stay with us.
Absolutely.
It would seem, Owen, if you were going to introduce something like this, like a 2-drink limit in all airports or in airports, I would imagine you couldn't then be serving booze in the sky.
That at some stage serving a drink in the sky will come to an end. I've been at those IATA conferences where that data is being produced, and that seems to be the direction we're going. It's very draconian though, because there is a sense that a drink in the sky isn't always a bad thing, that people enjoy it. They're going on holidays, it relaxes some people who are nervous, all of that. But that seems to be overall the direction. The air rage incidents, not all of them are related to alcohol, by the way, only about a quarter of them, but the air rage incidence is rising. And when you come to aviation, safety is paramount. It is a big deal to divert an aircraft, and people end up in court and they're put on no-fly list. But sometimes you can have 2 or 3 incidents on the same flight without the flight being diverted, and it creates stress for everybody involved, especially the cabin crew who have to deal with this.